Doma Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now let's take it over to England, over to Manchester. We had a fight Liam Smith, a former 154-pound champion. 100, I don't know if he was champion of somewhere else, but definitely 154-pound champion. And a good fighter, one of the Smith brothers. I think it's about four of them, and versus Chris Eubank Jr. And Chris Eubank Jr. was beaten TKO stoppage last year by Liam Smith. So this was the rematch. Most people would know, I roll with Chris Eubank Jr. because I rolled with Chris Eubank Sr. in terms of, how eccentric Chris Eubank Sr. was. If you didn't know, go back and look at some of the highlights. If you're a young cat, what he would do when he come in the ring and how he would act, how he carries himself. It can get under your skin if you're the opponent, right? Or, a certain type of people. You can't really dig that, right? So that's what his thing was, getting under the skin of the opponents and people in general. And his son got a little bit of that, you know what I mean? So, I've kind of rolled with him because of that. And I think that Chris Eubank Jr., I'm not going to say underachieved. That's too much because you can't say underachieved if someone wins about 30 fights and loses 3, when you're saying underachieved, right, like that. But I think that he could have did a little bit better. The thing is with Chris Eubank Jr. is he was beaten by pretty good people. I mean, Billy Joe Saunders, I think it was a split decision loss. He was coming on late in that fight, and he lost to a George Groves with a whole lot of confidence. George Groves at the time, so he could lose to those. I didn't think he should have lost to Liam Smith. I thought it was a little bit of level above Liam Smith, but Liam Smith showed what he's all about. So he beat him, and so they had to have a rematch. So in the rematch, Chris Eubank Jr., who we know trained with Roy Jones, but he left this time and he's training with someone else. I forget who it is right now. No, matter of fact, Bomac, Crawford's trainer. Matter of fact, what I'm talking about, I'm forgetting. So he's training with Crawford's trainer. So if you messing with Roy Jones and Bomac in the last year and a half, then you're picking things up. Regardless, I don't know if you're remembering them or if you're executing them and using what you're learning, but you're damn learning something. And you're seeing some good stuff because you're just around the aura of Roy Jones and the aura of Terrence Crawford in your circle. And you already are Chris Eubank Jr., who we know has a work ethic. We do know that. We do know the attributes Chris Eubank Jr. has in terms of he's going to throw a lot of punches. He's got a great chin, so don't get that one fight twisted because I think he could have continued. And he has endurance. So you can work with those things. And he has a whole lot of confidence and swagger. So I think anybody, just looks at him and be like, well, there's a lot of things I don't have to do. He's already has. So in this fight against Liam Smith, it's the rematch. I don't know if they, what's up, but I know that Chris Eubank Jr. dominated. He dominated. He was landing most of his punches. He showed his punch repertoire. The punch of the night had to be the uppercut, be it with the right or the left hand, because, Liam Smith uses the high guard. And Liam Smith, he showed resilience. He could have gave up, right, mentally, checked out, because he was really, really getting out-punched and being punched a lot. But he showed his resilience. And, so Chris Eubank is winning. I think around 4 or 5, Chris Eubank had him down. Liam Smith had him down, I think with an uppercut, matter of fact. And Liam Smith gets up, and Chris Eubank showers him with a whole lot of punches. And I thought the referee did a good job because by not stopping the fight at that particular time, because Liam Smith was hurt. But I think when you're a boxer and a guy's just throwing a lot of punches, because boxers know, okay, so just throw a lot of punches, maybe the referee will stop it. And if you're a boxer, you would like that to be stopped. But if not, what you would have is someone stopping the fight too early, right? And you don't want them to stop the fight too early. So when you see the guy using his upper body movement and avoiding punches, even though they're hurt and they're avoiding punches, let's say somebody's throwing a 12-piece combination, but the guy avoided all but 2 shots, then you don't want to stop that fight because the guy is playing defense and avoiding all those shots. He's still there. He hasn't mentally checked out, and he's handling his business. And I think that has to be, you have to pay attention to that to make sure, oh, I'm not stopping the fight because he's not landing everything. And the referee did a good job with that. When we did stop the fight in round 10, Chris stops him around 10, it was time. Because at that point, you know, I don't even know if Liam Smith won a round, right? Now, I'm going to say this. Chris Eubank Jr. also showed his chin in this fight because he was hit with a couple of good shots while he was throwing some. He had to take a couple of overhand rights, and he was able to do that too, you know, because I was wondering about what his punch resistance was going to be after that last fight. So he's still Chris Eubank Jr., and I just think it's good for England, you know, because Chris Eubank Jr. is an antagonist. You know, he's going to get booed in England. You know, but you need that guy, right? You need that guy in your thing, you know. So it's good to see Chris Eubank Jr. back. Let's see what he's talking about. I haven't seen any post-fight anything, what he's talking about, where they're going to go from here. Are they going to have a trilogy? Or is he going to move on to something else? But it's just good to see Chris Eubank Jr. back in the win column. Congratulations. Don't Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.